So guys seem to be having a little issue with the connection. Okay, I think we're up now. I don't know, it's like the internet dropped momentarily. But anyways, I think we're good now. So rock and come in, guys. Rock in, come in the dance. Rock and come in. It's the final one for the week, so we got a lot to talk about. It's been a pretty eventful week. I think we had a lot of takeaways, although, situations serious. We still learned a lot. I think we touched on abuse this week. We touched on rape, and for those of you who follow my pages, I'm not sure if you saw the two thing I posted this morning, but boy, it is crazy. Y'all are not making relationships encouraging at all in these streets, I swear. It's rough out in these streets, man. It's like going into relationship these days is like Christelle, make up your mind. It's either you here or there. You can't be two places. We're only 30 minutes, so you can go back and listen to that. It's saved. You can go back and listen to that after. So I don't understand where you come out talking about telling people where you're there and what you're doing. Either you're here or you're there. You can't be two places at the same time. So make up your mind. You're in the dance or you're outside. Anyways, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Final one for the week, like I said. Jacqueline, you're up and running early. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. So much to talk about. And they're pretty long as well. So, hold on, let me shift. People are all over the place. There's a lot of happening all over the place. But this is like bam, 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 and we're through. So, settle yourselves. All right? And we will proceed from there. Let me just give you guys a couple more seconds because I realize the notifications folks are saying they're not getting the notifications. Krista, you could go look at that after. It's not gonna go anywhere. Morning, GS. Hope all is well. So yeah, I wanna look at some of the there's two situations on my post. One of which is that I entitled it, "When you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes." And for the life of me, I can't understand if you're harboring insecurities as a woman. Why would you want to play certain games with your man and ask him if he finds any of your friends attractive? Or why would you do that when you know you're insecure and your self-esteem isn't like at the top of the roof? Why would you want to play a game like that? I don't get it. You want to play a game and then you get upset at the results when he says yes and he names one in particular that he finds. Because he said he finds somebody attractive doesn't mean he wants to get with the person. It's okay to look at other people and, as my mother would say, wish them well. It's okay to say, hey, yeah, boy, that girl look good, boy, that boy. That shows that, you know what, you're confident in yourself. You know? Your self-esteem is up there. Because there will be women who would get upset if they're out with their men and they see their men looking at another woman or glance at another woman passing. Like, if you don't want your man watch nobody else, keep him inside in a glass case. It's not like he's going home with the person. It's not like he's leaving you there and go, try to get number or talk to the person. There's nothing like being in a relationship where you're so comfortable that the two of you could look and say, yeah, boy, that girl look good. And you as a woman can say, yeah, boy, she does look real nice. Instead of feeling in some type of, you're not the only person on Papa God Earth. There are beautiful women. We're all beautiful, but there are some who have a little bit more than others. And there's nothing wrong with admiring a person, their physical attributes. It's not like the man is going to get her number and So when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And like I said, if you know that you're insecure, do not ask to play certain games. Stay away from it. So you're trying to set the man up basically. So you're supposed to say no. There's nobody that I find attractive, just to appease you, to soothe. Listen, stop it. All right? But there is a video circulating. I have not seen it, but I've heard of it and heard the descriptive words used regarding school children, school child, and not one, but two or three males involved in broad daylight, in an open space, public space, engaged in sexual activities. And I'm just looking at adults going absolutely crazy to see this and talking about it. And it's not in a way talking about it in a way that they want to help, or they're disgusted by it, or they're concerned about it. It's like making fun of it. And I don't get it. That is why I've been pressing all week about the need to have like big sisters, to have more parents and more guardians and big brothers and big sisters have this conversation with, you know, their siblings or family members or friends or what have you. It's just like, it's just so casual. Like, it's like we've become so cold when it comes to these things. It's like, it's not affecting us directly. It's not anybody we know, so it's okay to make fun of it. There's nothing cool or kosher about that. And now she probably wouldn't understand, but what I've realized, sometimes you do things in your youth, and as you get older, it sort of catches up with you. Things that you put out on the internet doesn't go anywhere. No matter how much you delete or you try to get rid of it, once you put it out in the metaverse, it's out there. You may delete it, but the speed people have these days, sometimes you just post something in error and you're like, delete it. Somebody already screenshot, somebody already saved. So I think we really, really need to stop hyping these things up and getting excited about it. It's like, oh my God, in 2023, people are still getting excited over like sex, yeah. There's somebody, there's a video, let me see, send it for me, and getting all excited. Like, yes, the stadium won Jacqueline, and I assume you have that one as well. In 2023, I don't understand why people are still getting excited. How did we get here? Isn't that how we were born? Isn't that how we were conceived? People still getting excited like, I mean, I know we're on a small island and not much happens on a daily basis. A little accident here or there. Thank God we're a relatively safe space, you know. A little robbery here, a little violence here or there. But that still doesn't excuse the excitement that some of you are like rabid. You're like, when you get rabies, you'll be foaming at the mouth. You'll be so excited to see people engaged in something that you do. Like, I don't get it. And especially when it involves minors or school children. You're not there dissecting and talking about how she's doing and what she's getting, and boy, I know, boy. Put on my glasses there. I want to be recharged to y'all today because some things I don't get it. And some of you are people, you have children, daughters yourselves, sons yourselves. And to me, they always say when your neighbor's house on fire, wet yours. You might think you're doing the perfect job in raising your child, but you don't know what influences that's out there that your child is or being pressured into doing. So while you're getting excited over somebody else's child, you don't know what's going to happen with your child. So the safe thing is to, you know what? Instead of being happy and sharing, and how about taking a more responsible role and try to, what you talk? I'm talking about politics. Where you come at this time of the day? Yeah. And trying to steer our young sons and daughters on the right path. Because we all know what it's like to mess up. That lives with you forever. No matter how much you try to change or try to do better, people will always remember you for the stuff you did. I'm a living testimony. No matter how hard you try to work on yourself and be a better model and be a better person, people always remember the ish that you did. And they don't see you working on yourself or anything good. So it doesn't matter how hard you work to do better or be better, people will always remember the negatives. They will always remember what you did in your past and not pay attention to what you're doing in the present. So these things, they follow you. So it might be fun and games for some, but it's not for others. And it's not a conversation you need to have with your daughters only. Like the caller said yesterday, it's just like pong, pong, pong. You know, it's like there's no love, no romance, no, it's just, I don't know. It's like, no, I don't, it's not even funny. You know, I was listening to somebody, you know, yesterday, they was sharing that with me, and I'm like, wow. I wonder if she knows how this is going to follow her, and not in a good way, you know. She just says when they don't like you, they remember the bad. When they like you, they forgive your wrongdoings. So you're like caught between a rock and a hard place. There's no easing up. You can't win. Basically, you can't win. And it's for no reason at all. That's true. And they don't like you, they remember the bad. They'll never see anything. Doesn't matter what you do. They'll always see the bad and remind you of it. When they like you, they forgive your wrongdoings. Forgiveness is good, ain't nothing wrong with it. But anyways, I just wanted to touch that part before we moved on this morning, because apart from them engaging in that at an age where they're not even ready for, and if something were to happen, God forbid, STDs, another unplanned pregnancy, then we're going to hear, oh, government this, government and providing that. But we're not teaching our young people to be more responsible with the choices they make and what are the consequences of some of the choices that they make. There's a consequence for everything in life, good, bad, or ugly. So we're not talking about shouting and beating and screaming at them when they actually do something, but just have impromptu, unplanned conversations. What's going on with you? You know, hear what their headspace at. What are they thinking about? What are they engaged in? Because my day when we went at any sporting activity, we had a certain time to be home. You could not be outside and the street light was on. You had to be home before the street light came on. But now it's like you see children just walking around town like nobody's business, hanging in the back of the by the sea, just chilling, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the evening, and you're asking, aren't these children? Don't these children have somewhere to be? Aren't you supposed to be at home? There's nobody checking. There's no be home before certain. You have some people, children just doing what they feel like. Skizzy says it's sad that we reach a stage where sexual acts like that is not a biggie. Ish happens, yes, but we have to remember to instill self-respect in our children. It's not okay, both boys and girls. If my daughter let any boy bend her in public, so I'll bend her in public too. Exactly. Oh, you just need a lot of guidance. And I just wish sometimes the energy that I see people pouring into the politics and the yellow and green and the back and forth and the bantering, I just wish we could pour out just about an ounce of that energy into, you know, our young men and women, and realizing that they need serious guidance. Because if you look at the age group of children that are getting pregnant. It's literally children making children. Grandparents are younger, grandparents, and have no time to mold. And, you know, back in the day when your grandparents was like an older person. So her role basically was to groom her daughter into being a mother. So she, most of the times, did the taking care of the child. And you learned as you go along. Grandparents want to be doing eyelash and makeup on outside. They ain't have time to show you nothing because there's nobody to show them anything. So you'll have to struggle on your own. So it's like, who's the child and who's the parent? Like the cart is before the horse. She just says it's like children don't really think about the future, and most of us were like that too. That is my sentiment. So I'm not coming here to act as though we're perfect or whatever. We did our share of mistakes. The only thing is we didn't have any cameras, so there was nobody making videos or recording us. But we definitely did a lot too. But I still wish we had people to set us straight, to lead us in the right direction, to guide us. Because we just basically figured it out on our own. Oops, call back, I'm sorry. Yeah, a lot of the things we did, we just figured it out on our own. All you were told is don't bring no child in my place. That was their way of sexual education. Don't bring no child in my house. You and your child outside. But now that we have access to so much resources, materials, the internet, that you can literally sit and gather the information and put it in some sort of spreadsheet and give your son or your daughter to read if you're not comfortable having the conversation or expressing yourself. Because like I said, even though we're in 2023 and people still getting excited over seeing people having sex, people still aren't comfortable having the conversation. Even grown men and women, you do the act, but you don't talk about it. You're still not comfortable having the conversation. Because to me, the thing is, and I always say, you're supposed to learn from your mistakes, right? For example, you know what it was like. You got pregnant. You didn't have any help. You didn't have any support. Aren't you in the best position now to teach your child so she would not or he would not repeat the mistake that you make? Because your first-hand experience, you lived it. You know what it felt like, struggling on your own. So wouldn't you want your daughter or son to be better or do better? So to me, that is enough motivation. That is enough, you have enough experience to make that difference. At least that's how I see it. You probably might see it differently. Shanti said, I admire how the young man dad dealt with the situation. He admitted that his son was wrong and he has to stand the consequences. Who dad? Shanti, I missed it. Who dad? I don't know the whole story. I was just going through what someone was saying, sharing with me yesterday, so I'm not too sure what's going on with that. Simone says a lot of these kids' parents had them at a young age, so most of them felt like they missed out in their lives, so rather be friends with their children than parents. You can be friends with your parents, with your children, and nothing wrong with that, because you want to create a safe space. Your child should be comfortable to come to you to speak on anything. I love seeing parents that are friends with their sons or their daughters. I wish I had that kind of relationship. It makes you more open and comfortable to speak on anything and not having to hide and go around the bush and go behind big stone and do nothing. But you go in and you make informed decisions. Caller, every time I come to you, the phone cuts off. Okay, could you try again? Because even if I answer it, it just seemed to drop out. So try again. Every time I turn my head, that's when you call. I am 4409595. If you want to chime in, feel free to do that. Somebody keeps calling, and whenever I finally see it, oh, the young man in the video. Okay. Oh, so his father his father spoke on it. All right. Maybe that one I would like to see, not the other one. That one I would like to see what the father had to say, and it's good that at least he's being accountable on his son's behalf and letting his son recognize um, what he did is not kosher, because some parents ain't have no reason or season for their children. No matter what they do, they're wrong, they're right, they're right, they're wrong. Nothing called responsibility. Nothing calling accepting responsibility. Instead, cuss and bacchanal and drama. And so if that's what his dad did, well, kudos to the dad for speaking up on it. Because sometimes, like I say, you try your best. You try your best as a parent, and you think you're doing your best, but remember, they spend most of their times amongst their peers than with you. Because if they're in the classroom, how many hours of the week? And you probably just see them on the weekend, and sometimes even on the weekend you're working, or they have extra curricular activities, or whatever the case might be. So as much as you try, and as hard as you try, peer pressure a lot of the times influences some of the decisions that they make. So you might try your best. Don't get me wrong. There are parents who try their best, who really, really try. But as you say, you make children, you don't make their minds, right? And you can bring a horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink. So as much as you try, at the end of the day, let it be said that you tried your best, instead of, well, you just let go for your children. Let it be whatever decisions they make, you can stand up proudly and say, you know what? I so-and-so, GS, I, Val, really tried my best to groom my child in the way they ought to be. But life happens, stuff happens. Even though you try your best, they still have to make their little mistakes by themselves. But it's about minimizing it and not making decisions that will harm them for the rest of their lives, Trisha says it's not enough to just teach your child about sex. Parents need to build their children's self-esteem and self-worth. Too many parents stay beating on their children's self-worth and not instilling self-worth and self-values in their children. Correct is right. Correct is absolutely right. Because sometimes the way you hear parents speaking to their children, you're stupid as your big head father. I should have do this, I should have do that. Shante, me send me a, on his status he had him raking in Telescope Beach and did a little video. Oh, that's good. So at least his consequences for his actions. That's a good start. So maybe you can share that with me. Yeah. Busy to tell the children about your big head son, your big head father, no good, and he did with this woman, and you're stupid just like him. And you should have drink cement and all kind of nonsense y'all be telling your children, beating down on their confidence every day. So when they go out there, it's of course easy for them to just fall into anything, because the little self-esteem they have is already eroded. You're already beating it down. When they go out into the world, they don't really have much. So it's easy to be influenced just to fit in, and to be part of something, because they don't feel like they fit in at home or they belong at home. It's constantly your father this, or your mother this, or your dad this, and really, it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. And they might sometimes see children behaving a particular way and be like, why you have to study? All you have to do is go to school. And no, you might be surprised. Sometimes we forget like we were young once, So the things that you went through, what makes you think that your children aren't going through it? And even worse now with so much pressure. Back in the day, you put on your old piece of shiny walk and your dog muzzle and you go to school, and you were contented with that. You weren't stressing about having latest Jan Sport on your bag. When your bag busts, they bring it by Cyril in Grenville and he sew it up again and put on a new zip. The bottom falling out, he put piece of leather in the bottom and you jack your bag on your back and you're gone about your business. There was no pressure for who have North Face and South Face and Jan Sport and whatever little bag you get from the Chinese store, you throw it on your back and you go to school. You had 2 pair of shoes, one for school, one for church. And the same one to go out. And you wait for your older sibling to outwear it so you could get a chance to get it after. Pure hand-me-downs. You didn't have much pressure. So imagine now it's like constant pressure and you didn't have to worry about having iPhone, Wii phone, this gadget, iPad. There was no need for that. So it's like you give your children all these things, and it's like that's what you're sort of trying to make up. But you're not doing the part in terms of ensuring you group them, ensuring that you prepare them for life. Because a lot of our children are not ready for life. They break and bend easily. Much a rap and kick again. The amount of bobo I have all about my body getting pushed down and fighting with my brother and them. You are taught to defend yourself. They call you all the worst set of names. Now before you even make a little children want to take their lives because they're being bullied and they don't know how to cope. But you were taught to be tough. And that toughness came as a result of going outside and playing and not sitting down inside on a phone all day, on front of a computer or iPad or a tablet all day. So you had to defend yourself. The internet didn't raise you. You didn't sit inside all day, and you make your mother and father come and meet you inside on bed. Sit down on bed. I remember my father removing the room door because we lock up inside the room. They remove the door and they put piece of curtain. Because you're going in door and you're playing your woman and you're playing man, slamming the man door in your house. Oh, you put door here to slam? The gentleman removed his room door and my mother put piece of curtain. You didn't put door here where you're slamming door, want to play woman and slam door? Well, slam the curtain when you get vexed. Now you have your own room. You have all your gadgets. You're inside your room. You may be planning all kind of ways on YouTube. When your parents or your friends fret you, how to hurt them. You have that. You put the curtains when you're in the room. And if you use the bathroom or whatever, and you're changing your clothes, you draw it. When you finish, you pull back the man piece of curtain. You ain't have nothing called privacy. They want to see what you're doing. Who and what you're doing in your room. So, slam curtain. Let me see you take a piece of curtain and slam it. How you slamming curtain? Now people want slamming down your room door, locking themselves in the room, telling them open it. Listen. No, I'm serious. Yeah, I'll be taking everything for joke, but I'm dead serious. It's just so different now. It's like parents try to make up by giving their children everything but love and guidance and having conversations. Like they expect teachers to grow them up. They expect everybody to grow them up except them. And they figure, you know what? Me giving you a food and shelter and clothing and all these things that you want is being a good parent. Well, last time y'all even sit and ask your children, how are they? Like, what's going on with you? Are you okay? How is school? Who are your friends? What do you like doing? How many? Because you said I graduated at 15 years. I did the same. My daughter is taking 16 and in Form 4. Times have changed, and we have a more mature age range in school now. We have to approach sexual education differently. Values and self-worth are important factors to take into consideration when having sex conversations as well. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. Back in the day, we were contented with you fall from the tree, you fall from a coconut, and they ask, Mommy, how am I born? Or you drop from the sky. All kind of Nancy stories. Never the real thing, because they just wasn't comfortable. It is something that they did, like I said, and we still have that mentality. We do the act, but we don't talk about it. And I don't understand why we're not comfortable having that conversation in 2023. It's all there. Everywhere you turn, there's something sexual, an image. You're watching a movie now these days. Remember when you used to be watching a movie back in the day and you see a little kissing part come on, and your parents give you the eye and you turn around and you're looking around waiting for just a little kiss, no sexual, nothing. and you're feeling funny, and they'll tell you why you're watching, turn your head, and when they're done, okay, you could look back now. It's from since then we were like, now it's everywhere. A simple commercial to advertise a drink, something to eat, it's sexualized. So it's there before them. I remember my brothers used to have, what you call it, Sunday Punch? Was it a Sunday Punch newspaper? I think it came from Trinidad. And my brothers used to be under the house with that paper. And it was just girls in like skimpy bikinis and skimpy swimwear in it. And the way they got excited just to see those women. And the newspaper went around the whole neighborhood. Everybody had to get, when you finish with it, you had to go and bring it for the. And the way they would sit over it and kiki, and they get so excited about it. But now it's like a norm. Everything is on full display. There's no hiding anything. So why are we still afraid to talk about it? Why is it still taboo? Don't start over passions and Young and Restless. Well, you know our parents lived on Young and Restless, so you had to turn your face on and see Jack and Victor and them making their thing. Lisa says, my friend's mom put the fear of God in me about sex. She said, y'all get pregnant in school, she will wait till the belly gets big and drop a tank of gas on it. When I got pregnant at 26, I avoided the lady like a plague. They told you the most scary things, I'm telling you. They instill the fear of God in you. So you hardly, like, teenage pregnancy back then was like on one, you could probably check on one hand how many times you heard of somebody getting pregnant in school. Because that's how fearful you were about it. They made you fear pregnancy. So once in a while you would hear somebody, and then what happens, they would ship them out, take them out from school, and they ship them out of the country. It wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Once in a while you would hear about it, but now it's like almost expected. It's like the norm. And we keep glorifying, yes, children are blessings and all of that. But we don't tell them with the blessings comes responsibility. And with that responsibility means you don't come first anymore. It's all about that little person. You don't have a life, basically. Everything revolves around any plan you have to make. You have to make sure that the person is okay first. Imagine this little baby that can't even say a word now controls you and controls your life. Sheena says, I was toxic parenting. They were fearful to educate us, not have us fearful. Because they didn't even know themselves. Sheena, you have to understand, right? That's how they were thought. So they figured, that is how I grew up. That is what my parents told me before. So that is how I am going to parent. So they didn't know any differently. It was done to them. So they just decided, you know what? My mother did it to me and it worked. So I'm going to do it to my child and hope it works as well. But that was then. You can't use those methods today because we're dealing with a different breed. Children are miles ahead. Sometimes I'm on TikTok and I'm looking at these videos of these little babies and little children and how advanced they are. And I'm thinking back to when I was that age and I feel dumb. I feel like I was dunce. When you see how advanced these children are, now you give a little child a phone and they're swiping. One time I was looking at my niece, gave her my phone to watch the little rude pink pig, what's her name, Peppa Pig or whatever, and a call came in and I looked at this barely 1-year-old child, ended the call, declined the call on the phone to go back to looking at Peppa Pig. And I'm like, what? How did you know which button to press to decline? Why didn't you touch the one to accept the call? How did you know to press that one and decline? Miss Lady pressed and declined that call and went back on YouTube without me doing anything. And I'm talking about like a year and a couple months. And I'm trying to figure out if I was that age, would I have known how to do that? Like, decline, I'm telling you, hit the end button, decline, accept decline, hit decline, and went back to YouTube. You hand them the phone, and you don't even have to open the app for them. They know which app is YouTube. We're talking 1 year and a couple months, 2-year-old, 3-year-old. They know exactly which symbol to look for to go on YouTube, and they're just sitting there and watching their little fingers scrolling up to find what they're looking for, and it can't help but be amazed. So we're not dealing with children here that tough and hard. They're very, very easy to learn. Larry said nobody could decline a call faster than a child watching Peppa Pig. I'm telling you. So there's a lot of things that like we weren't exposed to that they are. So you can't just use the same methods and expect different results. It's not going to work. We have to get up to the times. We can't continue to live in denial and hope that your daughters or your sons aren't engaged in anything. You can't sit and hope. Be sure. Find out. Have the conversations. Talk to them about it. Talk with them. Don't sit and hope and pray that it's not my child. That's not a guarantee anymore. As much as you would try your best. So you need to have the conversation. She knows some of you weren't done, so you're just as bright. You just didn't have that environment they have now. That's true, but sometimes the speed you see they do things with, you have to question yourself, like, would I have known how to do that? But it's just amazing to see how quickly they grasp things like using phones and using tablets. And so if they're that quick, why do you think they wouldn't be quick at picking up other habits? So why aren't you having the conversation? Why aren't you comfortable having the conversation? There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of materials you can use. Because like I said, even as grown as we are, we're still not comfortable having open, frank discussions about, sex and all of those things. We still use all kind of funny names to describe it. You still feel embarrassed. You still feel at our age and stage. You do it, but you don't talk about it. Lily says talking to them at an early age will also protect them from sexual predators out there, even in their families at homes. Exactly. Yeah, so like I leave it this morning, just wanted to talk about that. Thank you for your time, your attention, and of course, thank you so much for your contributions. This has been another great week, and thank you so much to our friends at Western Union. We shall reconvene on Monday at 11 a.m. in the forenoon for another show. And continue to send me your stories and your situations. You can hit me up on in my inbox, a messenger, and I'll be more than happy to talk about it. All right. So have a good Thursday, everybody. We'll see you back here on Monday. Thanks so much for powering up for another week. All right. So stay safe, everybody, and have a productive day. All right.